This is a challenge 2. Watch my other video challenge 1 if you're interested in a similar topic. I offer the same thing as last time. I offer the money and there are other benefits, very important benefit. If you are the first person that beat me, which means you do better, I will describe what is the better one. And this is the pattern number you need to beat. See, I have a plate here, and this is the pattern number listed here. You need to beat this pattern, and you have a reward from me, promise. And also I promise to bring you fame. I will call you professors if you're a student. Depending on how many people like. If one person like, I will increase the amount $1. Minimum I pay $10 and maximum is 1,000. It's exactly the same term as last time. I'll call your professors or your boss to congratulate your achievement. If you don't understand this material, please pass on other students or other people are more knowledgeable, and please like this so they can have a higher reward. So what is this topic? It's related to something called a cache. In computer, there's a cache, but it will apply to any ordering problem. It's really not related to computer cache. You can use exactly the same thing to any ordering problem. If you have to keep ordering, which one first, which one second, versus you have to store number of bits, then you can use it. Specific, my pattern is in the category of a computer cache. So what is a cache? Unlike last time, I will have a layman's way to explain this. Suppose I go to a grocery, have so many aisles. So in grocery store, I have aisles, say I have 20 aisles. And each aisle, I group them in, say, 5 groups. And each group, I have, say, 6 shelves. All the 20 aisles organized in the same way. If you want to do a project, you want to try things, it's very hard to take time for you to fetch things from different aisles. So what I will do is I set up a small table and fetch things from this aisle into the table first, and then I do my experiment. So this small table is called a cache. Cache is a French word for hidden pocket. So this is very small, but in computer it's very fast. It doesn't take a long time to fetch things like on this table. You can reach easily. So this is the cache. So what is the cache property? You have to have a locality. One is spatial locality, and you have to really grab the whole shelf to that table. For example, if you need a cereal, it can have a different manufacturer, different kind of cereal, and at one time you bring the whole shelf to that table. And second is temporal locality. There are 3 different things. For example, if it's the most commonly used, for example, a soy sauce, if all the recipe I use, I will put in my table and use the word locate. Locate says it's there, nobody can replace that. Another kind of a material in computer says if you have a streaming in a video, you just grab that thing to your table one time. Actually, there's really no point using that cache, using that table, because you only use one time. So this is in contract of the first you must use, and this is you must not use. Okay, the third kind is what we are trying to focus is some unknown pattern. You don't really know which one is first, which one is second. You only know maybe you used whatever you used in the past is more likely will be used in the future. One known algorithm is called least recent use. L is least recent use. So it is a optimal, because if you don't know the pattern, of course if you do know the pattern, least recent is not the optimum, but if you don't know the pattern, it's unknown, you have nothing better than this one. Some people argue it's least recent algorithm is better than random. You see some cheap processor, they use random. There are some reason. They usually show you a small difference. It says, oh, in terms of performance, say cache miss, the small difference of an advantage of LRU. This reason may or may not have any advantage. That's what they claim. But they miss the point. even though you see very small difference on the curve, you draw a curve there very similar or slightly better, but that small miss rate may translate a very big gain. The second point is, what's the cost of implementing the random versus LRU? It's really not that much different in terms of cost. Technically, including implementing LRU is almost zero, but the only cost could be financial because I have this pattern and other people cannot use it. That's what the financial cost. The advantage of validation, of course, the random you can't predict. You don't know how to validate. It's very tough to validate. The LRU is very predictable. You know exactly how to validate, and that's an advantage. As we talk about our cache, we have an example. We have 4 different ways. Each way I have a shelf number. I have 6 shelves here. Each shelf is number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and they are identical 4 different ways. Of course, this small table cannot contain everything from all the grocery store. You have to find a way to move one shelf here, and when you don't use it, you have to put it back. For example, I'm doing a move. If I move this box cutter from the grocery, say group 10 and aisle 3, I really need a right tag here, say group number and aisle number. I will put this tag next to the content of this thing. So every item I have to put a tag. I have to tag them, so when I don't use it, I know where to put this item back. Replacement algorithm, it says if I have 4 different things, the least recent use I need to replace. So I really have to keep the 4 different things, which is the least recent, which is most recent, which is the second order, exactly the order. So how many combinations we have to keep track of? The ordering combination is 4 factorial, which is 24. 24 combinations. And in order to keep track of all the items, I need to really have a side pair aisles keeping track next to it. Say this is a few bits. I need to write down the combination. How many bits that needed to keep track of this index row, so that I can know which one is first, which one is second. If you have 4 bits here, then 4 bits can keep track of 16 combination, which is not enough. If you have 5 bits, which is 2 to the power of 32, that will be sufficient. So 5 bits is the minimum that to keep track of 24 combinations. What is the problem? When you use 5 bits, you have 32, you use 24, and you have 8 wasted. So this is where my invention is clever. And instead of waste those 8 combinations, and I use that 8 to lock the way, meaning I don't have to keep another tag to keep track of each way, say which way is locked. I use that combination to tell one of the 8 says this way is locked, another combination is both way is locked, for example. What is the implementation? Implementation, I have a very clever way to, you have to beat both on the algorithm of the clever way of encoding and implementation. I need a 5 bit, for example. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bits. The first 2 bits indicate which way is the encoding of the way which is least recent use, and the other 2 bits indicate the most recent use, and the remaining 1 bit is for choosing the next LRU or the next most recent use. If the 2 numbers stored in those 2 bits, 2 and 3 and 0, 1 equal, then that's the indication of the lock. So the implementation based on this definition is very simple, and which is described in my pattern. I won't repeat it. In generalization, I have shown you this earlier. Not only cache, all things that you keep track of ordering, you can do the similar way. If it's stored bits, you have a lot of unused combination, you can encode them. Think about how to do it. And here's the table. I have a table list here. I have an example showing you 4-way. What if you have a 5-way? So here's the table. You have 2-way, 3-way, 4-way, 5-way, 6-way. That when you use a binary coding, you would have a ways 8 combination. 5 ways, another 8 combination. When you have a 6-way, it's 300 combination, and so on. N-way. That's the table. In the cache design, you also can think about it. Are there other bits? I have this group of bits for the LRU bit, and use LRU bit to encode the lock bit. And you also have other bits, valid bits. Usually it's hard to use them because they are fully encoded. And there are other bookkeeping bits in the cache tag. You can think about it. And hopefully you can beat me and get the money and the frame.